You're not happy. You know you would feel better if you exercised more, ate healthier, or made some new friends. You set the goals, make a plan, and a week later, you're back on the couch, watching TV, eating junk food. So how do you actually make your personal development goals stick? We are all capable of change, and sadly, some of those changes happen without us knowing it. We wake up one day, look in the mirror and think, how did I get here? I am currently rediscovering who I was when I was 17. For 16 years, my hobbies were watching TV, watching movies, and playing video games. I was unhappy, but I didn't really know why. The people I hung out with seemed to be happy with these activities, and I always questioned myself why I didn't feel the same. It wasn't until the summer of last year when I finally pushed myself out of my comfort zone that I got a taste of a happiness that I hadn't felt in a really, really long time. And now I have set goals and developed habits that will ensure that I will become more the kind of person that I want to be. Here are some of the things that helped me along the way. What do you actually want? It's so easy to get influenced by social media. It's made to tell us what we should want, but it can be good to, a certain degree. There are people out there who can inspire you to make positive changes in your life. You see the way they are showing their lives and realize that you want that too. It's only dangerous if it influences you in the wrong way. There's a lot of these rise and grind mindset kind of videos out there, and people making money just to make money and then flaunting it online. Sometimes even faking it. A lot of viewers, especially younger and more impressionable ones, can see this as the only way to be happy and then start pursuing this lifestyle, never even thinking about if this is actually what they want. I've never really had a problem getting hooked on this kind of lifestyle because I knew very early on that I just didn't care that much about being rich or showing it off. But that doesn't mean I don't get influenced by my social media feed. One of my goals is to become fitter. So when I see something like that Jeremy Allen White ad, you know which one I'm talking about, and the reaction that it got, I started to convince myself that the only way that I can be happy is if I look like that. When I actually broke down my fitness goals, I realized that I wanted to build muscle so that I can be more athletic. Also, in my last video, I realized how skinny I actually look. The thing that will actually make me happy is being able to do more sports, not maintaining a specific physique. And that's the most important thing when setting goals. Not the what, but the why. So find your why. Why do you want to eat healthier? Why do you want to be more outgoing? Why do you want to lose weight? And if the answer is because I want to be like that influencer, that's not a good enough reason. When you're struggling to keep to your plan, you can fall back on your why, because that why is personal and realistic. Which brings me to my next point. Start off small, don't overextend. When we make goals, we tend to go right for the biggest version of it. I want to read one book per week. I want to exercise every day. Or I want to post a video on YouTube every week. These are tough things to do, especially when you're starting from zero. When I set my goal to start running, I actually started by walking every single day, 5 kilometers, slowly increasing the pace every single day. And then one day, I started running and I never looked back. If you start small, you'll actually get this feeling of achievement, which will make it much more likely that you'll continue doing it. Anyway, time for a shower. Without the camera though. This doesn't mean that you shouldn't have big goals. If your goal is to read a book a week, great. But that doesn't mean you have to do it overnight. By starting with something smaller, like reading for 15 minutes before bed, you make the goal more achievable, and then you can build upon it. Before you know it, you're losing sleep because you're reading too much. keep to the basics. Real talk, the apps, the devices, and the fancy journals are not going to be the deciding factor for you achieving your goals or keeping you consistent. All you need is the basics. I have nothing against well-designed apps with reminders and organizational tools. And I definitely don't have anything against journals. I love these little things. Sports watches are also a great way to track your activities and to keep an eye on your health. But the problem that I often see and have experienced myself is that we lose sight on why we're starting on a goal. Because we put more emphasis on getting the right app, the perfect journal, or the right tracker than the actual goal. This is all a great first step when you don't actually want to start. It feels like you're doing something, but you're actually not. If you want to journal, start with a plain notebook or in a notes app. If you need reminders to do a thing, use your calendar app. And you don't need a watch to do sports. Personal development is hard enough as it is, so you don't need to overcomplicate it. Once you get going, then you can graduate to these more fancy apps, journals, and sports watches, if you want to. By then, not only will you know that this is something that you will stick to, but you'll also know what features you would need from an app, a journal, or a sports tracker. So, start simple, then get the app. You're going to be uncomfortable. That's the point. You wanted to make a change because that which was comfortable wasn't making you happy. Kurzgesagt uses a metaphor in their video about habits, which I really like. They say to think about your mind as a jungle, and the choices you make are like cutting a path through it. The more often you make that choice, the easier the path gets to walk. So the path of the comfortable choice is really easy to walk. Choices like scrolling on your phone after a long day of work or ordering fast food instead of cooking a healthy meal at home. So when you make that choice to change, you have to start cutting a new path. And the more often you make that choice, the easier and easier it's going to get to keep making that choice. I just recently experienced this myself. After a really long day on set, I came home, relaxed on the couch for a second, and then realized it's Wednesday. I go running on Wednesdays. At that point, it wasn't even a question if I should go or not. I was tired after work, but it was a Wednesday. I run on Wednesdays. Don't give up on yourself. Wanting to make a change and becoming a better person is a good trait. It might take multiple tries, but if you keep trying, you haven't failed. Whenever I fell back into bad habits after trying to make a change, I would just tell myself that this is who I am and I don't deserve whatever it was that I wanted. But that's not always the case. Sometimes the goal is just too big or too unrealistic. Reflecting on why you're struggling to achieve your goal is key. This is also where your why comes in again. If your why was because you wanted to be more physically active, but you can't get yourself to go out for a run every other day, then maybe you just need to change the sport. The why can motivate you so much because there are always different ways to achieve the same goal. So don't give up, be kind to yourself. You can do it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found it helpful. If you have any tips that you would like to share, I'd love to read them in the comments. See you next week, and as always, peace.